Board games, board games, it's what we're talking about in some manner. Board games, it's I'm not gonna shout. Today it's friendly Friday forum. You've got some notions, so let's share 'em. And we're going to do whatever today. Maybe we'll chat about the games we like to play. Maybe chat about the games we made. Maybe chat about the cloths we frayed. If cloth fraying is a thing that you do, I'm not the supervisor of you, so you can fray things if you want. You can play some board games if you want. Anyway, board games, it's what we're talking about. Board games, I'm not gonna shout. Hello, and hello, Sate, hello, Alex. It is lovely to see you. Hello, guten Morgen, wie geht's dir? Und yeah, that is as much German as we can have. I am Bez. This is we are blethering about board games. It's I call it bath time, but bath time is just a state of mind, and now I've kind of consigned myself to explain what I even mean by that for another 59 days. For 2 more months, I'm going to have to explain what this bath time is. I mean, bath time's like a state of mind. If you want to take a bath, you can take a bath, but you don't have to. Anyway, skimming over that, I am Bez. This is Friendly Friday Forum with me and anyone else who wants to join. I am going to post a link into the comments. And if you follow this link, you would actually join me. So, like, you would be joining me on camera. It's what I'm doing every Friday now. So, like, yeah, I don't want it to be just, hey, let's come on and let's join Bez and do a bit of self promotion. But, yeah, chat about whatever you want. Chat about, like, how the week's gone, whatever. That's what's coming up. And I'm doing this because sometimes it's nice to not have a topic. Sometimes it's, enjoyable. I hear that some people like it when I'm a bit more off topic and a bit more random. And also for me, it's been nice having some Fridays where it's just like, yeah, I don't have to worry about a topic today. It's all good. It's all chill in the hood, figuratively speaking. I mean, if you actually had a hoodie and in your hood it was like a little chiller, although then there would be heat coming out of it, but maybe, there's like a system of pipes so the heat kind of goes quite far away, but maybe you've got a hoodie and just within the space of this hoodie at least it is chill, literally. I've never experienced such a thing, but anyway, that is not what I'm talking about. So let's talk about recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, playing games and other delights. Oh yeah, this is a recent thing. So what was I testing in the middle of the night? It was something for Ross's Discord, because on Discord, Ross has a thing where if you're streaming, then other people are just going to be shown. So yeah, now I'm automatically Ross is like a technical wizard, you know what I mean? Ross from More Games Please. And anyway, shout out to Ross. Thanks for kind of sharing some love with the community. And it was like, yeah, now I've sorted out my Discord connection, so I'm automatically pasting there each time I go live. And that is something that Ross basically sets up. Also, I was maybe testing the categories, because there are definitely some confusing things about Discord and Twitch. Anyway, I hope that explains that question. I mean, I'm actually going to change the banner at the bottom because, this is feel like I want another F there. Maybe freaky, maybe something to do with chaos. Feisty, fiery, the fiery, anyway, friendly, feisty Friday forum. I don't know. Anyway, and hello, Rob. Good morning. I was just chatting about Ross for More Games, Please. And Ross is certainly charming enough to be a wizard, as opposed to that Richard Simpson, who is self-proclaimed not a wizard at all. Fractal fulminations. You should join and claim the other minutes. Says, I don't know what, Rob, you should join in and claim the other minutes. Not sure what you mean by that. Anyway, let me ask you, what have you been up to? So what have you been up to this week? 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 Or since I last saw you, I'm going to tell you what I've been up to yesterday. I did a bit of writing. I did a bit of cleaning. I did a bit of, well, I started off obviously with the stream, and that was with James Naylor. That was a great show. I really enjoyed James as a guest. Then had a bit of food shopping, final shopping that I'll do for the next couple of days because I went out and I had a COVID test and I'm definitely negative. I was considering like putting that up as an Instagram thing, and I was like, no, that's a bit weird, isn't it? Like putting your negative results on a thing. I mean, maybe that's a bit it feels a bit pushing myself on other people, even though like obviously I'm really happy that I'm definitely negative. And so I cycled back. I've stayed away from my housemates. I warned them, like I gave them hugs before I went to get tested. So like I was like, you know, George, you're going to be working today, so I'm not going to hug you anymore because, you know, there's a small risk that I could, but so the plan is that tomorrow I am going to head to Glasgow, and so that is my recent highlight that I am definitely not COVID positive. But achievements, I started writing the rules for Invisible. Maybe I'll finish that today. I was half considering doing a bit more on stream. Sorry about that. Hello, Dina. Dina's in a train. It is lovely to see you. You know, okay. I get it. Okay, so yeah, Rob should join in and claim the minutes that Rob was cut short for. Yeah, Rob, if you want to jump in and then, yeah. If you want to jump in, Rob, and talk more about being a jack of all trades or about randomness or just ramble about what you're up to, then please do so. Rob's rapid, raucous ruminations. I love the alliteration that everyone's coming out with. I mean, look, I don't have the biggest audience, but I love the fact that I have such a wonderful audience and you're so inventive, and yeah, I really appreciate that. I like that show, says Xate. I'm assuming you mean the James one. Don't be so negative. Oh, sorry, I missed. Oh, okay. So don't be so negative. Don't be so COVID negative. So if I had to get no. Come on, for goodness sake. What are you saying? You're painting me in a really bad light, Alex. And thank you, Rob. I really appreciate this. Okay. Look, this game is looking scary. Let's play it. Is that what your child said just now? Are we getting like live reports? Oh, hello, Duchess. It's lovely to see you. So Duchess does a bit of streaming with crafting and stuff. And yeah, I'm going to give a wee shout out to Duchess. Let's see, 1105. Let's see if this works. Boop. Yep. So there we go. Check out Duchess. If you don't know Duchess, then Duchess is so amazing and so kind of positive and lovely. And it is lovely. Yeah. Oh, Xate's liked Rob's rapid, raucous ruminations, but don't you feel like the reason that you liked it might have been because it was 20 minutes? I mean, this suggests to me that should do more 20-minute shows, maybe, to get what I mean. And, ooh, I think we've got someone coming in. And so, talking about Rob's rapid, raucous ruminations, here is Rob Harper.
Hello.
Hello, Rob. I will have to put on headphones in that case, because this means I've got noise coming on. How are you this morning? I hope, yeah, how are you? Let us know if you're willing to share in as much or as little as you're willing to share.
Yeah, doing back from the Friday morning shopping, which is thrill packed. So I've managed to get everything put away in time so I could join you.
Oh,
Can only join you for a little while, but figured I'd.
that's totally fair. You know how the Friday is. Like jump in, jump out. I've even got it on a wee bit. Where's my banner that says, yeah, if you're super cool, like Rob, maybe you can join me on camera for a bit. Jump in, jump out. But please don't shout. And mute yourself if you're making lots of noise whilst, others are chatting. But yeah.
So okay, I'm not super cool, so I'd better leave. So nice saying.
Rob, no. Yeah, you are. So Will Cook for Board Games is Dang, Coffee, and Well Duck. Rob Harper with all the emoticons. And apparently Dina has Dina publicly shared the name of their child? I can't remember. Is that something that we can we have a name, or should we just say Dina's child forever? Because it feels kind of, I mean, I understand if people don't want to, like, I'm going to use an initial. Okay, Dina hasn't. So let me say child. I'm just going to call Dina's child, if that makes sense. So anyway, yeah,
Hi, Dina.
Dina and Child are playing Zombie Dice today, which is the scary game that was mentioned. But yeah, what are you up to today, Rob? What are your recent stuff?
So made a game with squirrels. So that's kind of. So yeah, a couple of nights ago, had a play test of this new game I've been working on with Dave Mortimer, and it's got a lot of rough edges, but it did more or less what we were hoping it would do. So that's nice. I've been doing a bit of updating to components on that. He's been implementing it on screentop.gg, which is a sort of 2D virtual tabletop, so a lot lighter weight than Tabletop Simulator or Tabletopia.
Because it doesn't actually have any physics or anything like that, so it's a lot faster. And does it run in your browser? Am I thinking right?
Yeah. So at the moment it's free. I mean, I think they're planning on always having basic functionality free, but there might be a sort of subscription thing for more advanced stuff. Alex,
I really regret that I only got half of this during the thing. I don't know, maybe I didn't chat enough, or maybe I had to pay money or something to get the other half, but I've got that half of the thing, but not the other half. So I can, but people still know what I mean when I post it, I guess.
Yeah, it's close enough. You kind of, if you kind of mirror it, you can kind of put it at the edge of the. I can't get that quite right, but yeah, there nearly. Yeah, that's close enough. Well, rubbish at this, aren't we? You're better at it than I am.
Like, you gave up too easily, Rob.
I did.
To be fair, I've got a lot of practice. Well, see you later. Lots of love, Dina, and yeah. Hope you enjoy Zombie Dice.
Yeah, it's a fun game, that one. We got
same as me. That's the half that I got, Xate. And Alex is completing us all. What a lovely thing.
Alex always completes us all.
If we kind of do those, maybe if we're as good at it as Bez and Rob, I'd say.
I think you're probably better than I am at this anyway. But
I mean,
Veg
if
is good
I
at
kind
it, but I
of
need
click
practice.
between them very quickly. Oh, didn't mean to pop that up, but yeah, since I did, on 9th of January, there will be a special thing, and like it's in the chat. Yeah, Bez and Friends Game Day. You weren't around for the first one, were you, Rob?
I think I turned up for a little bit in the afternoon or something and had a chat with someone, but I
Oh,
wasn't really involved. I missed most of it.
so I was going to ask if you think that I should do anything differently.
I'm afraid I don't have
That's totally fair.
enough perspective on that one. But
Okay, hello, Miss Patsy Mayonnaise. Um, and thank you for joining the stream. Just to explain, the reason that we have pronouns next to our names is so that people know what pronouns to use when referring to us. That's basically it. So that people understand that if they are to use the pronoun she when referring to Rob, that is the wrong pronoun. And if people are to use the pronoun he when referring to me, that is the wrong pronoun. And that's it. I hope it makes sense, because sometimes you can't assume just based on the way that someone looks or based on someone's username. Is there anything more that needs to be said about that, Rob?
no, it's just a good thing to just make it a regular thing, because it really matters to some people. Some of us it doesn't matter so much, but it's kind of nice that it's a normal thing, I think.
Mm. When I come on, I always ask nowadays, how would you feel about this pronoun? How would you feel about the other pronoun? And how about, the third? Like back in the days, oh no, it's okay. And
Yeah, don't be
honestly,
sorry for asking.
as long as you're asking in a respectful manner, because for sure there are some trolls and there are some hateful people, but as long as you are doing it in a loving, respectful manner, feel free to ask. This is the Ensley Friday forum where, it's all good. And yeah, as Xate says, that. Mm-mm-mm. And yeah, I mean, the fact that you're Miss Patsy Mayonnaise, I might assume that, Miss, okay, I'm going to assume she, but if it was just Patsy Mayonnaise, is Patsy, yeah, Patsy to my ears does sound a bit more feminine, but maybe Patsy's a non binary person. Do you know what? And if I said Pat, maybe Pats is short for Patricia or Patrick. Sorry, I'm not trying to make you self conscious, I feel like. No, it's been really loving, and I really appreciate people asking and people trying to gather information and educate themselves. Obviously, it should never be seen as the responsibility of any one person to educate you, but as long as you're, again, we do like them in role-playing games, but not in Twitch. Yep, we're talking about trolls there. And yeah. And so, yeah, it's kind of interesting how, your own identity is hidden. And that's one thing that I kind of want to do with this whole Friendly Friday forum. And if you want, then let me know and I will paste the link. Maybe not for first-time viewers, but for anyone who's been here a few times and I've developed some amount of trust with, like Alex or Xate, who've been here for I don't know how many months. I mean, I've been doing this for nearly 8 months now, and Xate's been there since like month 1 or 2. I don't know, 6 days a week. Xate is like I feel like my number one supporter, and so I cannot thank Xate enough. But
yeah, but she's too timing you with Michael nowadays, so it's kind of.
Yeah, Michael's stolen Xate's heart. So sad. Xate, why did you leave me? But actually, see, it's not like Xate's actually left me. It's just Xate is kind of giving a bit of more energy to Michael. But at least it's only from 11:30. Do you know what I mean? At least it's only the last half hour of the show.
I think, yeah, I think Bez knows these things.
It is not very subtle, despite what they may pretend. But despite all this, I consider Xate a friend, and thank you for
Bye, Patty
being
Mayonnaise.
there, and will vanish into thin air. Oh,
Bye bye.
bye or welcome to stay as you wish. The beauty of Twitch polyamory. Anyway, let's get into what we were chatting about, which is everyone, what have you been enjoying recently? Have you played any games? What were the last games that you played? And for me, the last games that I played were still Invisible and Biddle and Point Salad on Wednesday. Yes, yesterday was Thursday. So yeah, Wednesday. Um, those are the games that I played, and I really like those two L games. I'm still trying to work out the L deck competition, and I sent a long voice message to the designers of those to kind of explain the decision process that Chris and I was going through. I had a long discussion with Layla about it, recorded something. Um, it's like Invisible is almost like the final level, like it's this big, meaty, complex game. It requires a bit of pen and paper, which is a bit of a negative, but yeah, it's got a lot going on, and I think ultimately Chris and I are both going to try and play it with our families. I'm going to try and get the rules written up as soon as possible for both of them and just send them out, because I'm going to be like, you know what, honestly, it's between these two games, and please, everyone else, kind of just help me decide. What do you think, Rob? Do you think you would be up for trying a two-player game that's about one player's hiding, one player seeking, and a bit like Scotland Yard, trying to work out where the other person is going whilst making words?
What now? It's good.
Not right now.
No, no.
Like,
In general, yeah. And there's I'm not huge on the word game things, but that they can be fun, and as some of these Wibble or LDEC games are. So, but yeah, I'm up for trying anything once, right?
and
So it sounds good.
Xate, can chat vote on their favourite games in the contest? People who, yeah, sure, if you aren't biased at all, so as long as, and so once I've made the rules and I've sent them out and you've had a chance to play it for the first time, if you are able to play them in a vaguely objective manner, then please let me know your thoughts.
Thanks for
Man,
the invite.
so say it says you're, for goodness sake. Anyway, Rob, what have you?
Methinks Sate does protest too much there.
What have you been playing, Rob?
So I've not been playing very much the last few months actually, but it's been mostly online. Like I say, I've done a few prototypes over the last week or two. Actually, last weekend was nice. Ellie Dix was running her a sort of little get together on Saturday evening, which on a Zoom call. So I joined for some of that and played a couple of games with that, which was nice.
Yeah, I really saw that, and it was a lovely idea. I wanted to join, but I also wanted to be away from the screen, if you know what I mean, on that Saturday.
This is the problem, isn't it? Doing everything over screen. I mean, I've got a full-time day job, so well, almost full-time, and an awful lot of that. I mean, that's all computer work. So I'm working at a computer screen, and we have meetings over Zoom mostly, and there's Slack channels that we have to keep chatting in and things like that. And then when the personal life and the recreation life and things like that is also these online sitting at a computer things, it can get quite hard work sometimes. But make what you can of it.
No, but I mean, that sounds like a good solid weekend, and playing your prototype. how is Dave Mortimer as a co-designer? Do you want to dish the dirt or blow the trumpet, figuratively
Ah,
speaking?
he's a model co-designer. He is. So it's the second project I worked on it with him
So you're
because
not
I'm
saying
doing.
that Dave's the best. You're not like kind of dismissing everyone and saying, hey, you're not as good as Dave Mortimer. But what you are saying is Dave is A class and other people can also be A
He's
class.
top class, yeah, and
Yeah,
other
yeah,
people
the
can
top
be as
class,
well.
whatever
Yeah,
that is. If you want to
yeah.
say the top class is S class because you've got a weird system, then that's up to you. You
I think
know.
that's S Club 7.
Mm.
But so yeah, what we talking about? Oh yeah, yeah. It's the second game I've collaborated with Dave on because we're doing the thing with Alan Paul as well. So there's a three-way collaboration, which I think Matt Dunstan, who's a font of an awful lot of wisdom on collaboration, says three partners in that can be difficult, but it seems to be working quite well so far.
So the other
But,
game is you, Dave Mortimer, and Alan Paul, right?
yep, yep.
I mean, I think it's slightly different, sorry, when you have such a history with everyone involved,
Mm.
because um, you've made games with Alan before. Have
Not
no,
really. No,
but you've started games with Alan.
I've no, I've only really got to know Alan in the last year and a half, something like that.
Hmm.
Um,
Wow.
so I pitched a game to him a couple of years ago, and it was kind of a not for us, thanks, but thanks for showing us type of thing. Feel free to pitch again.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that was basically the start of relationship with him, and I've been talking to him since. And then I pitched another game sort of last year to him, which he liked a bit more, and we've been working on as a potential thing to add to their pocket campaigns game. So the thing like the Cousins War and the Ming Voyages and Much Progress are the original games in that. So I've got a game I'm working on with Alan that may make it into that range if we can make it good enough.
Hmm.
But it was not too many months after we started doing that we got talking about this other thing with Dave. So so yeah, I
Any
go back
reveals
with
that you
Dave quite a few
can?
years. But,
Anything you can share or
well, what about the
about
collaboration? So
about the three-way
uh,
collaboration?
the collaboration with the three of us. I was talking to Alan on the Surprise Stairs stream over Essen about that. It's the Snails and Grails game, so it's based on some
Okay.
bizarre medieval marginalia from.
Oh wait, so
The,
you've got the Snails and Grails game with the three of you, which
yeah,
I did actually hear about. I want to say last year, but by that I mean, a couple of months ago, maybe.
yeah. We
Um,
started
and it
talking
feels
about
like
it
with the
about a year ago, but
okay, yeah, I've just lost completely any sense of
yeah.
time. Um, anyway, but you've got this new, completely unrelated snail game
So no,
with Dave.
that's squirrels.
Oh, squirrels. Sorry.
Squirrels, you got. I mean, there's squirrels and there's snails. They're very different beasts. It's important
Yeah,
to keep them separate. I mean, we're thinking of putting squirrels into the snail game as an expansion, but we'll see how it goes.
and could you put snails into the squirrel game?
Possibly, but we're going for realism with the squirrels, so it might the snails might not have as much impact on the gameplay
What
as
you might do is just have snails in the art, maybe like on the grass.
it's
Just for
entirely
the sake of
possible.
it. I mean, like
Yeah.
just as a call out to hey, we are the snails and squirrels people, and we're all about the part English parky gardeny beasts that start with an S.
Yeah, sandwiches. They're beasts that live in parks, aren't they? So,
Uh,
so sparrows. We got a sparrows. That'd be good.
and
Starlings.
it says Rob seems too gentle and happy to make war games. Apparently, Rob, you cried when Xate played a mean card in Target.
I did, to my shame. Fate was really vicious in that game, and didn't tell me the rules, and just played all the mean cards, and basically ground me into the dust.
Yeah,
So
Xates is all about thrashing people,
mm,
figuratively speaking, by which I mean beating them by a big margin in a board game. Squirrels and snails, what's a meal? Says Alex. Have you ever eaten snails, Rob?
I've not. I've done. I've eaten sort of whelks and things like that. So the sort of sea snails, effectively. But I've not had escargot or any such thing.
I had snails in Greece. I've never had snails in France, interestingly.
Yeah.
If I saw it's offered, I would totally go for the snails.
Yeah,
What's
me too.
like, like here's something that I've never seen before. But I've never been offered snails. I've, looked in quite a few French restaurants, by which I mean in Cannes, like because I was there for Cannes 2019 and 2020. I went to Cannes, I went to Avignon, I went to Montpellier. And in Montpellier, I spent a lovely weekend. And I'm not going to say I went to all the restaurants, but I did, study all the menus from outside. And, if it was like, okay, this is where I'm going based, and I did have like a really fancy meal in Avignon. That was probably one of the most fancy meals I will ever have. It was like yeah, it was basically like a 7-course meal with like each course was like a teeny tiny thing, the type of thing.
Nice.
But every
Yeah.
course had truffles, and
So
it
there's
was
the truffle theme as
yeah. Anyway,
nice.
but yeah,
No,
I've
that sounds
never
amazing.
had French snails. I would really love to. I mean, I don't know if it's more of a prestige or more of a stereotype that people have that. Anyway, snails with fluffy tails that can fly from tree to tree. These are the snails that are enjoyed by me. I don't know. Garden
Yeah.
sandwiches. Yep, that's British. Now with real sand. Um, they sell snails in the freezer section at some German supermarkets. Huh. I would have that. Depending on how much it is, obviously.
Mm.
Um, Talking about recent highlights, I do want to share something that I cannot share. Basically, I want to say that I signed an NDA yesterday and I can't say anything more about it. But it might happen, it might not happen. But if it does happen, I'll be really excited. If it doesn't happen, I'll be a little bit disappointed. But hey ho, these sorts of things happen. But it's a big thing.
So it's
That's
the
it.
first time you've been involved in something like that.
Um, yeah, it is the first time that I've um been really clearly okay. You absolutely cannot say this,
Mm.
and I'm not going to mention any more details, but
No, of course.
hopefully, let's say within a year, I will hopefully either be able to say, oh yeah, that thing happened or that thing didn't happen. But I'm doing like the Mark Rosewater style teasing where now it's like, oh,
Yeah.
this thing is super amazing and I want to talk about it, but I really can't. Otherwise, yeah.
It's like vague booking, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the old something exciting is happening, but I cannot tell you anything more about it other than I'm excited. Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you more about the NDA. I will tell you that there was more than 5 words in it. And like there were maybe 6 paragraphs. I can't. If you want, I can even tell you the number of words in the NDA. I don't think that's. Ironically, the NDA itself isn't under NDA, but I'm not going to say who I signed it for. But I could do more vague booking and give you more information that no one cares about. Why does it excite you? What are you making? Who said I'm making anything? All I said is that I signed an NDA. Tell us all the details. Am I now the Queen of England? Or the Queen of anywhere? Well, I can be
Just
the Queen
the
of
Queen in
Hearts.
general, I think, is the.
I mean, is there a global Queen? Am I replacing
There
like
could maybe
Queen?
there is now. Maybe there
Hmm.
should be.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean,
Thoughts
give it.
spinning.
I mean, we need a leader of the free world, right?
Hmm. Do you think I would be a good benevolent dictator? Do you think I would actually stay benevolent, or do you think that power would corrupt me?
We're back to this Magneto discussion thing, aren't we? It's the old. absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Um,
Yeah,
I don't know,
it's
I'm still not clear on the exact roles of
yeah.
this queendom or this kingdom. Um,
I I think you've got a good heart there, Bez. I think you'd stay at least mostly benevolent. You might abuse it occasionally, but I think you'd be.
I mean, I understand that to be a dictator. I'm not denying that. I would dictate some things for sure. I would be like, yeah, I'm dictating UBI right now. That's the sort,
See, I'm on
yeah.
board already, right? I'm on board with that.
But would I dictate, things for the public good, or would I eventually be like, okay, what I'm dictating now is that everyone must give me tithes, and you must give me 20% of all your land. Although, if we are to agree with Lizzie McGee, then people shouldn't own land in the first place, frankly. I don't know. What do you think of the landlord's game? Do you agree with its philosophical principles, Rob?
Yeah, I'm not
Are you
really
a
thought about it
Georgist?
too much. Oh, a whatist? A Georgist?
Oh, so you've not looked into the philosophical leanings of the
I've
landlord's game?
not. I know the general idea of it, that it was there to effectively satirise land ownership and the abuse of the ownership of over tenants and the like. But I haven't looked into it deeply. So
I mean,
I
as
know.
I understand it, Georgism is basically just the only thing we should tax is land, literally.
Mm,
So anything else, if you're working for money, then you keep that money. And I mean, to me, it feels very simplistic. And I understand that Lizzie McGee is saying, okay, land should be taxed more heavily, but to say that everything else should be exempt of tax, that feels a bit much to me.
I'm I've not looked at the arguments on that, obviously, but I kind of start feeling that if you're a landowner and you get taxed on your land ownership, you're going to want to gain money to cover the landowner, cover the tax. So you're going to start charging rents on people, and you're going to be hiking the rents so that you can pay the land tax, because you're not paying on the rent itself. You're paying on the land. So the more rent you can
Mm,
get, the better off you'll be. So it feels to me. I mean, there may be more detail in there that
that's a
I'm
fair
missing, but
point. The
it sounds
motivations
like
may not be what Lizzie wanted.
yeah, it could be unintended consequences. There could be quite
Mm.
unpleasant.
I mean, I guess like with any game, I mean, the fact that it's still us posing these questions,
Mm.
what is it? Over 100 years later, I want to say it was 1913. Do you know offhand?
It, I'd place it beginning of the 20th century, end of the 19th, but I don't know. Let's have a look at the. Are we both going to search for this?
1903.
1904. It's patented in 1904. It says here, so it will have been designed beforehand. Yeah.
According to Board Game Geek, it's 1903.
Okay. According to Wikipedia, oh 04. So,
I mean,
this is scary.
patented in 1904, so
Yeah.
um, rather than invented necessarily.
Yes. So
But
yeah, Wikipedia says in 1902 to 1903, McGee designed the game. So
so yeah,
yeah,
Board Game Geeks got it as the later of those 2 years. Make an
yeah,
arbitrary choice. Fair.
yeah,
Just,
exactly. It's like what's
I mean, who knows when Go was invented? For goodness sake! And as we go back and back, this reminds me that Board Game Geek is not the repository of all knowledge that you'd hope that it would be. I can't remember what it was, like the Yes No game maybe, and Presents that I recently reviewed. Like that's not on Board Game Geek, and at some point I need to. Well, I don't have to, but I would like to because I kind of appreciate what Board Game Geek is doing and what Scott and everyone else is trying to do for the board gaming community. Do you know what I mean? Do you think that board gaming would be such a big thing if it wasn't for Board Game Geek? How do you think Board Game Geek has contributed to our hobby?
it's it's a centre for a part of a community sort of thing. It's easy to forget that board there's probably vastly more people are playing board games, certainly, and even hobby board games than actually use BGG. So it is just an enclave, but it is a good focus for community and stuff. It's just we've got to remember that it's not all of the community.
Mm.
There's, but yeah, it's as good a source of information on games now and historically as is available. It's it's got its flaws, but it's a really useful source of information and good focus for discussions and things like that. I think it's almost entirely positive.
Mm-mm. I mean, for sure, I think
Mm.
that it could be even better, but for sure, it makes board games much more discoverable. Like the fact, I might argue that if it were not for Board Game Geek, maybe I wouldn't be designing games. Like I'd been designing board games or card games of some sort, um, like since I was quite small. Because yeah, I was super into video games, and then someone says, "Oh, if you like games, you should really just make a cards game." And I actually did. I knew of Magic the Gathering. I'd played that quite a bit, from third edition. I want to say maybe second, but yeah, I had a game that just used standard playing cards. I made my own kind of CCG style game that was based on Newgrounds, the website, and then I showed it to the person who ran the site because they came to London once, and all these people, we were playing it for a weekend, and everyone was really enjoying it. But it maybe wasn't. They were like, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely printing that," because they weren't even in the market to print a board game. They'd never made a board game. I was just secretly hoping that they would, but hey ho, it didn't happen. And I'm sure if I actually still had that game going back like 12, 15 years, I'd be like, okay, this is a lot of what's wrong with this game. But after that, going to university to study computer games and coming back, thanks to Board Game Geek, I was like, okay, I like Go. What other board games are there out there? I'm going to type in. I've been found a Go club. Are there other clubs that are for other board games? It's like, wow. Not only are there, the board games that I was aware of, but all these other board games. And then I read through like the top, bunch, and it's like, okay, Puerto Rico. I'm not going to say I watched the how to plays or anything like that, but I, read a couple of at least the description as okay, cool. This is going on, and a quick review, and watched all Scott Nicholson's videos. That was amazing. And then thanks to that, found a local game group, played with them, and became better at design. And then found London on boards down here, and like made yogi and found play. It kind of really got me into the hobby because it was there. But yeah, I think it's an awesome thing. In honor of you being in stream, by the way, I'm sure you've already read this, but it is eating porridge.
I'm not quite sure what the connection is. I like porridge, but don't eat it very often. But
maybe Xate's had some idea that you're English and English people eat porridge. I don't know.
yeah, it's kind of we got that backwards, really, haven't we, between the two of us, as far as stereotypes are concerned.
I was going to go shopping after this. What's after this? Is that after this stream or after this very message? It's like boom, flashback. But you know what? It's up to you. Do what you feel you will enjoy and what will improve your own life, because you do have sure, I understand wanting to give yourself to other people, but you do have a responsibility to yourself.
And to your lasagna.
Hmm.
But I appreciate the loyalty, Xate. Thank you.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
I guess what's needed is it meat and pasta? Sheep pasta. That does sound good.
There'll be layers of cheesy or white sauce and sheep pasta and whatever filling suits your cuisine, right?
Ooh,
That does sound rather
noodles
good.
with. I think by noodles, because to me noodles is like when it strands, right?
But
I don't
in
know.
but I believe in German Nudeln is kind of generic pasta, really. So
Okay,
so sheets of lasagna is just a form of noodle, right?
so
I think State can
this
probably
is
correct us on that.
say talking Jenglish. That's kind of me combining German and
Yeah,
English. Genglish, I don't know.
yeah.
English. Um, anyway,
With
but this sounds amazing.
Deutschlich.
Spanish and Turkish white. But yeah,
That does sound
that's
really good, actually. Yeah. English.
English.
There we are.
Yeah, there we go. So there we
It's
go.
got a,
Yeah, I mean, my lunch is an apple, says Alex, and it's not even 11.
an apple a day keeps the doctor away, apparently.
I mean, if you throw apples at the doctor, then I
That
could
would keep the
imagine.
doctor away, I imagine, yeah.
But the idea that simply consuming any particular type of food is going to magically resolve any ailments, no, that's simply not true.
It reduces the incidence of scurvy, so so that would be one thing.
I mean, in today's time, do you know what the... So my dad was a doctor, ended up being a consultant hematologist, true story. And for their medical exam, my dad was asked, it wasn't actually part of, I don't think it was part of an exam, it was like part of a, like a teacher talking to my dad and saying, hey, do you know what the number one source of vitamin C is in the UK? What thing are people getting the greatest quantity of vitamin C from? What food item? Do you want to guess?
So it's not going to be actual fruit or fruit juice. It's going to be it's
And bear in
used.
mind, this was like maybe in the 80s or something.
Okay.
And
Vitamin C is used as sort of preservative and things like that in certain situations. So I'm guessing it's probably from that, but I don't know. Go on.
so actually, and if anyone wants to make a guess, red bell peppers have vitamin C. Yep, lots of vegetables have vitamin C. Are kind of on the right tracks. Yep.
It could be tomato sauce or something.
It's actually potatoes.
The potatoes, okay.
Yeah, because potatoes do have enough vitamin C to, in the quantities that British people eat them, you know, because there's roast potatoes, there's so many people just eating chips every day. Literally, some people eat chips literally every day. And so for those people, certainly, so many people, when was the last time you actually had proper lemon juice? And so for lots of people, that might be years ago.
So this is one of the things that only found out relatively recently, last few years, about the Irish potato famine. Right, it's basically due to the way the landlords were driving tenants and things like that. Was kind of there was lots of unpleasantness there, but the sort of underclass farmers and workers were basically having to live on potatoes. And the reason for that is that they're relatively easy to grow. They crop in large quantities, and they give you almost all the nutrients you need to survive on. So you eat a few pounds of potatoes and I think like a pint of buttermilk or something like that, and you've got basically everything you need because it's got the potatoes have got the vitamins, it's got some of the minerals in there, and got a little bit of protein in there, I think, and the buttermilk has more protein and more minerals and things like that in it. So that's basically all these this sort of downtrodden underclass that were basically surviving on the byproducts of butter production and potatoes. And of course, when the potato crop fails and there isn't an infrastructure to get them alternate food, disaster happens. So and there isn't an infrastructure and no one cares, I think, was the problem.
Yeah, this is like and hello Alex, who might be hearing us better on YouTube, apparently. And Sates, I understand you are having lemon juice, but, times have changed in the past 30, 40 years. I don't know when I mean, I know my dad's been in the UK for at least 50 years. So it was, and took the medical exam basically as soon as they could. So came here, studied medicine for how many years it is? I think it's like 6 years. But yeah, things have changed, and for sure nowadays I could imagine that people are having a lot more fruit juice because it's more readily available in the supermarkets and it's cheaper to get. But yeah, certainly I think it's just a reminder of, I guess, firstly the amazingness of potatoes, and secondly how things add up.
Yeah, I mean when I was a kid, fruit and veg was a lot more seasonal. I mean, there wasn't as much international trades in fruit and veg, so you mostly got stuff that was in season in this country, or at least in nearby countries. And it's so stuff's basically, there are no seasons now. If you go to a supermarket, you can get a cabbage, or you can get peas, or you can get potatoes, whatever, all year round, and it's a big thing.
Okay, no, I'm not allowing that thing. We've got to stay somewhat on track. So that's been our recent highlights. That was our recent highlights. And if anyone else wanted to share any recent highlights, well, you had the better part of an hour to do it. So at this point, that's the end. And Alex says apparently
recent highlights and potato chat. Yeah.
Alex says the infrastructure on YouTube is much better in terms of the connection. So there we go. Thank you for checking that out, and I'm sorry that Switch isn't working well for you. But let's talk about our brilliant thing. Brilliant thing. What's the little thing which is brilliant? Well, after all that chat, we can only really pick one thing.
Potatoes.
I mean, why are potatoes brilliant?
Well, we've covered it.
No, I don't think we have. I think we could talk way more about potatoes. I mean, look, you can roast them, you can mash them, you can fry them, you can microwave them, you can cut them into really thin bits and steam them. I mean, I'm just basically describing methods of cooking, and let's be honest, you could do this with basically all vegetables. But I think the point is that a roast potato, when the fluffiness of the inside compared to the crispiness of a potato, when it's like little fries, and not those, my housemate bought fries to go. We didn't put one in the microwave. I had one out of curiosity. Then I had two to check, is it really this disgusting? And, that pack didn't even get finished. And then my housemate finished all of my unopened fries, which I was like, yeah, like I know I put it on the communal. But look, it's fries to go are really rubbish. Let's just accept that. But when you've got the crispy fries compared to the fluffy potatoes, compared to the, just potatoes are such a good thing, and they've got some flavor of their own. They're not like the worst thing to have on their own. Like if you had literally just a baked potato and nothing else, that wouldn't be that fun a meal. But okay, some potato, I guess if you fry anything, let's be honest, it takes on the taste of the oil. So I'm not really making a case for potatoes uniquely, am I?
We're getting international stereotypes again here, aren't we? So frying things. But actually, potatoes, probably my ultimate comfort food is a big jacket potato with baked beans and cheese on top. So, I mean, it's a really simple thing, but yeah.
And hello, Zena, who came back. And Zena we're just talking about potatoes now. So if you want to share why you like potatoes, dropping kiddo off with his dad in 20 minutes, then picking up some of my things from storage and heading back home for some much needed relaxation before I start planning with Bez what we are doing for our stream on the 24th, which I am super excited about. Oh yeah, we are doing that. You decide, and it'll be a chaotic shenanigans. Just be, let's do some chaotic shenanigans. And oh yes, totally need to get some games going. But let's talk more about potatoes. What's your favorite game involving potatoes? Have you heard of that potato war game? I think it's called Kartoffelkrieg.
I have, yeah. That's the thing where you cut off you cut out little weapons that you stick onto the
Yes.
potato and things like that, and you march them around.
Yeah.
They're like mechs, aren't they? I
Hmm.
I saw that around. Never tried it out, but it was a brilliant idea. It's I like that.
I mean, other than that, which is kind of feels like a waste of potatoes, if I'm being honest. It's a really nice gimmick, but like, are there any games that are actually properly about potatoes? Ages ago, I was working on Dice Farmer. Um, I was going to submit it to Alley Cat's Games, but yeah, I never actually was happy enough to write up the rules. But that had potatoes, and potatoes were different to everything else because tomatoes, um, what was it? Blue was what, beetroot, and green I think was lettuce, cucumbers. So it was cucumbers, beetroot, what did tomatoes and potatoes. And potatoes were the easiest to grow by quite a bit. And potatoes, they would just multiply. So if you left them in your field, they would just keep multiplying, and they might even take over all the fields. Oh, is that from Abandon All Artichokes?
It is well spotted.
Amazing.
So game with potato.
I did not know that that had potatoes in it. Awesome.
Yep. Reveal the top card of your deck. Compost if it's an artichoke. Otherwise, discard it. So
I
yeah,
remember Emma talking on Ludology, now you mention it, about an infinite potato problem.
infinite potato problem. Yeah, I think that was related to the fact that it was kind of a you take a bit. If it's a potato, you take it into your hand or something like that. So you can just have a deck stacked with potatoes that you just cycle through completely every turn, sort of thing. But I think it was something like that, an earlier version of the rule for Spuds.
One thing about YouTube is that YouTube does lag behind Twitch. Twitch has like the shortest latency generally, so I think Twitch will generally be about 4 or 5 seconds, and YouTube might be quite a bit more. So I'm assuming Alex is talking about, let's make that game. Let's make more potato-based games. This is what Alex is saying. There's only 2 P's in the L deck, so if you wanted to make edible, a game about, making the word potato, potato. There's 2 O's in that word, 2 T's. You can still only make 2 potatoes because there's only 2 peas. This feels problematic.
Could suggest this for Michael's game jam. As a
potato themed games. I would like to. I mean, maybe as part of the chaotic chat, sure. And if you have to go, you have to go. But is there anything else that? Let's stop talking about potatoes unless other people want to.
I think it's a good rounding up for me for my visit here. I think that.
Would you like to share anything? What are you looking up forward to? Are you going to be getting on with your day now and bidding us adieu?
Yep, basically. I'll probably keep this on and be half listening in and probably snarking in the chat a little bit, but I've got a few other things I need to do.
Any family events or work-related things you'd like to share, or just all boring?
Well, this afternoon I should be having a should be having a bit of a playtesting session with Lewis. So game we're working on with him. So nice. That could be. So we'll see how we're doing on that. And other than that, taking it a bit easy, I think. But odd jobs I need to do though.
State vetoes L games for the Idle Michael game jam. That feels a bit harsh. Like I'm not allowed to.
Yeah, but it's got to be. But it's fine to have potato games, right? It's not.
But I'm not allowed to make an L deck game, apparently.
Harsh.
Yeah, that's like you can't use the L cards. Oh well. Fair. Okay, but it's lovely having chatted with you and seeing a bit more of your face. And we even got to see, when was it? Like 6 days ago.
Yeah, about that, wasn't it?
Just
Yeah, I've
over.
been on for much longer than that, haven't I? So,
But lots of love and
you too.
bye, Rob.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Yeah, it's lovely having you. And if I'm still going when you get in, Dina, I'm just going to paste the link again. Keep your L to yourself, says Xate. He so has to come back regarding losing Rob early. We're not losing Rob early, like the whole notion of Friendly Friday Forum. It is meant to be a jump in, jump out, but please don't shout. And mute yourself if making much noise while others are chatting. But anyway, so yeah, this is the Friendly Friday Forum, and if you have any questionably quick questions, it can be it's everyone's stream. This is everyone's stream today. It is for everyone. And so yes, if you have any questionably quick questions for me, then please feel free to ask. Well, I think there was a couple from Xate that Xate didn't get to. What is your best recipe to make on game night? Okay, didn't get to ask this of Rob, but my favorite currently, so for the last maybe 3 months, it's basically just been oven chicken, frozen chicken, and in a salads, like simple salads, maybe some peppers, maybe some cucumber, maybe some spinach, chop it up, maybe some tomatoes, put balsamic oil, lemon on top, maybe a bit of sweet onion, not like a normal onion, like a sweet onion, like a French onion, or maybe a red onion at a push. But yeah, that's what I'm currently having, because if it's just potentially any of my housemates could join, and it's Leyland McCall, and that's going to be who I have over on game night. It's going to be basically, yeah, it doesn't really feel worth making something. And so my general recipe from, like, if I go back like 6 months, and I don't mean like before the pandemic, I mean back when I had a wee bit more energy, that would have been, okay, I'll go to the market. I'll obviously keep distance, but hey, I'm going to grab some, maybe aubergines, maybe courgettes, maybe onions, always some onions. When I say maybe onions, it's like definitely onions. Maybe some, well, probably some, chopped tomatoes, and then basically making a big stew. That's what I'm all about. Going to the market where they sell bowls of things for £1, coming back home, and like when I'm at the market thinking, how will these things work together? Coming back home and putting them in a pot, chopping them up appropriately, putting them in. Maybe some star anise, maybe some cumin, maybe some chilies. Depends how I'm feeling that day. Depends what I think it makes sense to make these things work. Maybe some paprika. But yeah, that is what I would typically do if you are. Can I ask Alex on YouTube if Alex wants to dual Xate? I mean, if Alex really wants to get the points and duel, I mean, I guess that's up to Alex to open the Twitch chats. I don't know. Anyway, so I don't have any more questionably quick questions. So that is that. Well, feel free to comment, ask questions from like follow if you want, and feel free to ask silly questions as we go on. This is still the Friendly Friday Forum after all. And it's a cross-platform deal, okay. Except, okay, so I've got to roll a die. Is that what you're saying? Okay. Let's see. I've got to have some random selection method. Okay, let me work this out. Okay, green is clearly Xate and white is clearly Alex. This is my right hand. This is my left hand. Um, Now, um, which one do you want to pick? Um, and the color will determine who wins. So one is green, one is white, and green or white, right hand, right hand, right hand. Oh my gosh, it is actually green. And just to show that it was perfectly fair, the other one was white. So Xate wins yet again. And so congratulations, Xate. That has been like the six. I think you've won now like 7 out of 8 times. I don't know. So congratulations, Xate. You have won the duel. And yep, that is that. Now I am thinking, I am clearly very white. I might do some. At this point, I could either wrap up or I could do some live editing and writing, which apparently some people might be interested in. So, but you can keep on asking questions and I will respond. I'll put that to the side. Alex is more pink and reddish. So let me share my screen. So Xate has to go to the grocery. So Xate, if you're going to the grocery, I will bid you adieu. Give me a moment. I will make sure that I am I will make sure. Yep, I am on. Wait, am I not on mod view? What? Oh, here. Now I am in mod view. So thank you very much. And if I keep going, then Xate will procrastinate. But Xate, you need to have more strength in yourself to go to the thing. Now, I'm going to try and. So I've got Bidel from 1218. So I'm going to do a. Even though ideally I would like people who don't know this game to read it blind and give me feedback. That's quite a hard thing to do on the internet. So I'm just going to go through the rules and do a quick bit of editing. I did have some feedback from Chris to say that I should possibly have things here. I was thinking that maybe 2 players should really be variants rather than bits of the things. Also, I don't have to be in mod view to mod, only refresh the list of viewers if mod icons are on in normal view too. Well, I'm in mod view anyway, so it's okay. So, play letters to pick suits, make big sets. Yeah. Wait a minute. I just realized that I talk about sets at one point and then collections at another point. Which sounds better? Is it having big collections of cards or big sets of cards? I know that sets is a gamey word, but collections, I do use the word collections. Let's stick with collections for the moment. But then with a mind to, okay, we could go back to sets. I use sets here. Maybe I should have just used sets all the way. Let's have a quick vote. What do you think is better, set or collection? Anyway, take a card from the central. It's 10-ish minutes, 2 to 4 players, designed by censored. Overview, which I always like to have a nice little overview in these L games. Take a card from essential markets each turn, collect suits, bid with better cards to choose suits first. Only the letter on a bid matters. At the end, your largest 2 collections of suits score points. Now, I know that this bit, only the letter on the bid matters. That was there to kind of avoid some confusion because my dad especially was thinking, hey, wait a minute, am I trying to put them from my hand to here? And yes, you can make sure to see the market. Yes, that's a big part of it. But when you're first starting the game, it's important to remember that only the letter on a bid matters, and also when you're taking a card, only the suit matters. I should possibly have said only the suit matters. Choose a card from the market. Reminder, only suits matter. And yep, so let's ignore the fact that the spacing is all messed up. Okay, let me actually just change this to sets, because sets is a shorter word. And if I don't know which word I should go for, make big sets. Has anyone actually given any input? Sets. Okay, we've had one vote for sets. I was thinking sets, so yep, sets. Make big sets. Take a card from the central market each turn. Collect suits. Collect sets of suits. Maybe that would be sets of suits. Yep, that feels a bit more clear. Maybe I can force a space there. Does that? Don't worry about it right now. I'm not going to worry about the spacing exactly. Bid with better cards to choose suits first. Only do it. Yep. Now sets up. What I've tried to do is to move to a system where if the game is simple enough, which I think is true of everything that has been submitted for the LDEC design competition rules-wise, then if you already know games, or if you've played it before, then the bold text should be enough to kind of remind you of what to do. And the normal text is actual rules, and stuff in italics is kind of re-clarification, reiteration, or restating the same thing. So for example, remove 1 or 2 sets for 3 or 2 players. I originally had the words or, but this is another spacing problem. Or. It's so annoying. I could potentially go down 1. Could I like actually just cheat and put it to space 13.5? What does that? Can anyone tell that this difference? Is that clearer? Okay, let me actually just do that. With 2 players, remove any 2 suits. And remove 16 cards. You still play with 4. Okay. I've decided that this is wrong. I think that you should remove 3 suits. This is the final change that I'm making. Probably play with 3 suits in the deck and with 2 players. We played it like 3 times with Chris, and we've decided that 3 suits is marginally better. With 3 players, remove any 1 suit, because what I'm trying to do is, because you're trying to get sets of suits, and making sure that you can't just get 2 suits per player, because back when it was 3 players and 6 suits, well, you end up with 2 suits each. That's boring. But with 5 suits, now it's interesting. Now there's some battling involved. Now there's like, okay, when am I going for this one? And table talk and negotiation. There's a wee bit of that. And with 3 players, remove any 1 suit, remove 8 cards, you play with 5 suits in the deck. Put any removed cards back in the box. If you're playing with 4 players, play with the full deck. Reminder, the L deck has 6 suits. Each suit has 8 cards. Deal remaining cards. Deal the cards equally to all players. By the way, if anything I'm reading out is unclear, then please say so. And set suggests that the items are connected some way. Collection, less so, in my opinion. That's a really good point. I mean, I might say I have a collection of junk. I might say I have a collection of paraphernalia, but you'd never say I have a set of junk. You might say I have a set of toads or a collection of toads. I mean, maybe some sets are collections. So set is almost like a subset of collection. I think you're right, Rob. And Xate doesn't like the idea of removing suits. I get it. With an LDEC game, you want to just be able to shuffle up and away you go. But yeah, it does definitely improve the game for free players, because if you've played it a whole bunch of times and then you yeah, if you've got 6 suits, as I say, 2 suits each, that is just boring. Interact. So anyway, deal remaining cards. Deal the cards equally to all players, face down. With 3 players, place the 1 card left over into the middle, face up to start the market. At this point, it is suggested that people order their cards according to the alphabetical order of the bottom letter. Fill the market. Choose initial suits. Each player chooses 2 cards to start their set. To start their collection of sets. To start their sets. Yeah, to start their sets. Let's go with that. These can be the same or different suits. Place these face down. I that oh no, I don't want to have a that doesn't improve things, because I want each turn to be up here on the second column of the page. So I do have enough words. Anyway, each player also chooses 1 card to fill the market. In a 2-player game, choose 2 cards. Place these cards in the middle of the table, face down. You are allowed to talk during this process, but once you have placed cards into the middle, you may not pick them up again. Now, this rule came about because what we found is, are suits borders? Have I defined this? No, I have not defined what the suits are. Reminder, DL maybe okay. If I either the same or different suits. Reminder, originally the suits were shown as borders. Were called borders. I'm trying to call them suits now because, with categorical, they'll be in the middle. With couple, they'll be in the middle. And I'm like so looking forward to couple. Miles hasn't been able to do any work because of a small hand injury and also another job. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Originally, the suits were called borders. Each suit has 8 cards. Hopefully that clarifies things. Now, yeah. So, yep, you're allowed to talk during this process, but so this is because that initial choosing of what suits you're in, obviously in a 2-player game it doesn't matter, but in a 3-4-player game, if me and McCall have both go on for 2 bubbles each and Chris goes for 2 triangles, or let's say Chris and I go for 2 triangles each and McCall goes for bubbles, then the one person who's on their own has such an easier start because it's like, okay, one now definitely determined to share. So I want to almost, it feels like within this game, allowing people to talk and explicitly allowing them to talk adds something to it. Reveal the market / your sets. Starting sets? Oof. What if I don't have that? Or do I need to make this 13.5 again? Will that work? 13.5, 13.5, okay. Does that look, what size is, okay. I mean, yeah, I don't think that half size looks too bad. Flip each player's starting 2 cards face up. You're trying to have the biggest sets of suits possible. Maybe a reminder. Oh, reminder. You are And this is an orphaned word, like in typesetting, an orphaned word where you just have one word that's on its own on a line. That doesn't look good. Potato games are better than card games. That's a half-baked opinion. And Rob says that Rob felt like it was the case of Suits. But yeah. Do. And yeah, I do have Skype going on in another window. Do. If just saying apropos of nothing, but I do have Skype open. So reminder, you are trying to have the biggest sets of suits possible. You are trying. The goal is, which one is shorter? The goal is, boom. Yes, nice. Got it onto one line. Achievements unlocked. Boom, in the house. Flip the 4 market cards face up. You take a card from here each turn. You are now ready to begin the first turn. Each turn, everyone chooses a card to bid with. That would be clearer. And each player chooses a card. And should this be italics or should this be normal? I don't know. It feels like face down is introducing new information. So for that reason, regular. But reveal the chosen cards. Flip over the cards that players bid with. Determine selection order. Look at the bottom letter on each card. Whoever played the earliest letter in the alphabet will go first. So B is best, since A only appears on the tops of cards. Would that make it on the top of cards? The tops of cards? As A. If players play the same letter, use the top letter to break the tie. First alphabetically goes first. And so, yeah, you're bidding, and then, yeah, let me know if any of this doesn't make any sense. Choose cards from the market. In that order, each player takes one of the 4 cards in the, and I should have used the market. In the market, and adds it to their set. Oof, adding it to their sets. I mean, Yeah, I mean, only suits matter. In a 4-player game, the last player gets no choice. In a 2 or 3-player game, there will be 2 or 1 cards remaining. And I think the reason that I didn't have the word or is 1 card remaining. I feel like or is. The bids are added to the market. Cards used to bid are now added to the market. Repeat. End. After everyone plays their last cards, choose cards in selection order. Take cards, because I've used the. Should it be choose or take cards from the market? Because you're choosing. I've used the word choose here, so I should use the word take there. Then end at the end of the turn. Final bids won't go into any collection. Add up scores. Score 2 points for each card in your biggest set. Score 1 point for each card in your second biggest set. Whoever has the most points wins. To break ties, compare the biggest sets, then next biggest, and so on. An absolute tie is possible. And then I had some random thoughts which showed which was like, is the solo co-op mode possible? I don't know. Is the team mode possible? The bot was removed because originally there was a bot. But maybe, it could be a one-player game against multiple bots or 2 players against 2 bots. Probably not a great thing. Scoring is the best way. Like, final card, should it be scrapped or should it be kept? Should you be keeping your final cards that you bid with? Letters, should the bidding be opposite? Should it be like the top letter is the most important, then the lower letter breaks ties? I mean, and yeah, should the game be for 3 to 4 players? So, regarding the actual rules of the game, and the way it's developed, that's maybe a discussion for another time. Like if the designer, or it might be multiple people, if it's the designer or designers of this game want to have a chat, then I'm very open to that. I have been quite open with how things have been progressing, but yeah, we can obviously have a sit down and chat about stuff later. But yeah, that is the rules for Bidel. And for everyone who is watching who has not played this game, I would like to ask you, does it make sense to you? Do you think that you would be able to play the game from these rules? And I guess I'm going to save that. So that is, yep, saved it. So I'm now going to do a bit of Invisible. I'm still not sure how to spell it. This is like how it was originally submitted, I think. There was like maybe a Z is better, then maybe a double Z, although that looks weird. I don't know. What do you think? Invisible, 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 invisible. It's like, how do you misspell something? Invisible. 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 Anyway, hide and seek played with words, and so I've only done the first 2 bits, so this one here I actually need to do writing. We've got a suggestion, invisible, with a single Z. Let's go with that. Hide and seek played with words. I'm quite happy with that. 30 to 45-ish minutes. 2 players/teams. Needs pencil paper for each team. Designed by... Overview. The hider makes words, traveling around a grid of cards and making a secret note about where they are. The hider must visit every card to win. The seeker must find the hider 3 times to win. And I'm just going to skip ahead to the credits history notes, where I do note that in the original submission, the seekers could only move 3 spaces. So if the seeker checks a card on the edge, there will be some safe spaces. Hider is strongly motivated to ponder until they find a word that lets them go into safe space. And the issue is that once you're like, okay, this is a word that's going to give me 100% security, I definitely can't be found, then you're strongly motivated to just keep pondering until you actually find such a word. Now, online, if you're playing asynchronously, this might not be such an issue. But if you are playing together, trying to enjoy some time together, um, having, okay, this is, it's also like the certainty that I definitely won't be found. I mean, yeah, so getting rid of that, um, yeah, obviously, if a rule isn't strictly better, if you're unsure of it, just get rid of the rule. Also, this is something that I'm less sure about. In the original submission, words needed to start with the cards you finished upon. But if you got found, then you would start again anywhere. Now, what I've changed it to is you start on a card that is adjacent to where you are currently on. So that's what I'm going to try and make it, and I'm trying to work out how to express that properly. The advantage of doing that is that you have, how to put this? Firstly, there's no exceptions. It's not like, okay, if you were found, you do this. If you weren't found, you do that. So if you are found, you still make a word from anywhere next to you. If you aren't found, you still make a word from anywhere next to you. And the disadvantage, or there is an observation that it does speed up the game, that it makes it easier for the, like if we assume one 5-letter word and a whole bunch of 4-letter words, then the original rules might be, yeah, the original rules need a minimum of 8 turns for the hiders to win, and the faster movement means that you need 6 turns. So for sure, it makes it easier. Now, whether that shortening is an advantage is kind of a personal matter of taste, but yeah. But we've got the disadvantage of this rule change is that there's a positive feedback loop, which is when you find someone, you have some degree of greater certainty about where they are, because it's okay, I found you. You have to be in one of the up to 8 adjoining cards. If it's in the corner, there will only be 3. If it's on the side, there will only be 1, 2, 5. But for the moment, as submitted, it didn't feel like there was a strong enough change to be worth the extra rule set, and that's the way that yeah, was feeling. Hmm. Doop, boop, 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 boop. So, yep. Uh-huh. Either or what? I mean, so with the changed rules, essentially both sides have had a bit of an advantage, and yeah, we found that with Layla, when I was playing with Layla twice, the Seeker won, and in terms of advantage, so giving a little bit more advantage to the hider doesn't seem terrible. And yeah, when I was playing with Chris, I was the hider, and I think I managed to win, but I'm not sure, or Chris found me, but it was very, very close. But obviously it needs more exploration. But again, these rules are not finished. This is not about the finished rules. This is about having a playable set of rules that I can present to other people to judge the game, to say, how good is this game? And bearing in mind that there is another potential 8 months of development. And then again, even after that, things can continue changing. Now, for sure, it might be worth get writing in the original rules? Okay, you know what? With the original rules, let me actually write in. So, original rules changes. Let me put a wee thing. Oh, why did that not? I want to make that in the center. Oh, why is there not a tiny little space in there? That should be like 3 points. 3. Just anyway. Changes since the cards kept 2-player mode was a variant. Originally, there was a bot that played randomly. Originally, there was no getting rid of suits. That was added to add some competition. Originally, the cards kept secret were for the cards kept were secret, and I'm actually going to look at the original rules on if I can try and find the original rules, because that was one of the first changes that I made. And just bringing old deck game design submission form. There we go. Which one was it? Was it number 42? 42 is shuffle. No, it's not that one. Was it? No, it wasn't that one. Another one by. Was it? No. It wasn't 40. Boop, 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 boop. 39 is invisible. 38 is Funazel. 37. There we go. Bidal. So originally, yeah, what was it? Scoring add up for each card. So each card would give you plus 1 point. Originally, each set would score in a triangular fashion. 1, 3, 6, 10. Might go all the way up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 21, 36, 28. Is that what comes? Oh, and then 36. Every set. It was found that the new scoring system kept the same winner in 10 out of. It was more like I looked at about 7 games, and so yeah, 7 out of 7 games, and then I stopped paying attention to it. And so yeah, it was just a simplification, which if you've got the same winner, then why have the more complicated scoring system? Originally, 2 cards removed were kept secret and added 1 point to each of the sets. So yeah, 4 judges. Feel free to ponder other variations and mixtures of the originally submitted rules. There we go. Hopefully that helps a wee bit. Okay, so Invisible, going back to it. Let me close this thing, and am I still streaming? Because hello Vampire, it's lovely to see you. And today what I'm doing, sorry about this, I'm not being very good at following the chat. I'm trying to edit or write the rules for a couple of games, and these are games for the L deck. If you don't know the L deck, you can Why can't let me make my okay. If you don't that doesn't work at all. If you don't know the L deck, you can't see the cards behind me. And so I have a deck. Oh, there's a deck. It's just oh no. Oh, this is still a sealed one, but it's got the wrapper open, so I don't want to sell it. It's a bit dinged. But this is the L deck. Oh, you can sort of see the cards on the back. So the L deck, it has 2 letters on each card. And I had a competition. I have an annual competition for the 1st of August wherein people make games. And Invisible, so Biddle, which I was just editing, was a game that used the letters and the suits, which is the borders of the cards. Invisible, by contrast, is a game that uses just the letters on the cards. And I'm going through I'm rewriting the rules with some changes from me to share it with judges. And I'm going to share these couple of games, possibly with some others, to judges to basically ask them, please, if you can, play it this end of the year and see what happens and see which one you prefer. Do you have an L deck, Vampire? I can't remember. If you don't and you are willing to do some testing, then I will send you a print and play of the Comic Sans version. So let's start again. Invisible, hide and seek, played with words, 30 to 45-ish minutes, 2 players / teams, needs pencil paper for each team, designed by Overview, the hider makes words traveling around a grid of cards and making a secret note about where they are. The hider must visit every card to win. Secret notes. Making secret notes. The seeker must find the hider 3 times to win. Now I can 3 times to win. Setup. Make a 5x5 grid of cards. Divide into 2 teams. Give each team pen and paper. Flip over to the top left card. So arrange 25 cards in a 5x5 grid. Replace any unique letters, those with a 1 written on the cards. So I added this rule because to make it a little bit easier for the hider in terms of making the words. Avoiding these letters J, K, Q, V, X, Z makes it easier for the hider to make words. Divide into 2 teams, hider, seeker. It is recommended that the seeker team is larger than the hider team. It ruins the game if the seekers overhear the hider's conversation. Um, I don't know, conversations. Give each team pen paper. The hiders must track where they have been, words made, and the grid coordinates of where each word finishes. The aim of the hiders is to visit every card, so it is essential to keep track of this. Keeping track of the words' final locations helps the game run smoothly. Either team may wish to try recording some additional information to help make decisions. Flip over the top left card. This is considered the hider's starting location. Okay, so that's the setup. Awesome. Well, my email is stuffbybez. Let me actually get up the banner so you can see how to spell stuff by. Although you're on my Twitch, so of course you know how to spell stuff by Bez. But those are some of my links. And let me actually type in the comments stuffbybez@gmail.com, because I think robots are less late. But yeah, email me there. I will, once I've done this, send you these rules. And as long as, I don't know, how many people do you play games with? How many people do you have in your household? So the first game, just to reiterate, is a game for 10-ish minutes, 2 to 4 players, but 3 to 4 is really where it's at. And I would recommend judges to try and play it at multiple player counts. This one is for Invisible, which is for 2 players teams. This one's got a bit more going on. Anyway, we are only 2 in our house. Well, in that case, you can maybe still play both of them. Yep. If you're willing to give some feedback, and yeah, let's still sort it out. How we'll do that for you. Email me, remind me to do this, and possibly not after this stream, because I've got to finish writing, then talk to Jason, then do some. I've really got to get all my stuff out of the communal areas of the house, and yep, brilliant. Thank you very much. I'm looking for more people to help make this decision. So each turn, the hider makes/records a word. First letter must be on a card next to the hiders. This is a problem. Is there multiple hiders? Should I just call it hider singular? It's like a really clunky thing. Let me just do something. People will understand it. Or maybe I'll just put, from now on, I will refer to the hider team as the hider. But there may be more hiders. Okay, this is just a version 0.1, and I'll go think about the words in a minute. But orphan words, they're not fun. You don't want just one word at its own. Also, it's a big paragraph. It's at least 4 lines. It doesn't look too bad. It's recommended. Yeah, let's just keep it. Let's just keep it there. The first letter must be on words next to the hider's current location. First, and obviously, I have just taken the same BIDL documents. I just kind of copy paste the documents, so I've got at least the column structure, so I don't need to keep remaking that. That's why a lot of this text bears absolutely no relationship to what the actual rules are. Each subsequent letter in the word must be on an adjacent card, diagonally or orthogonally. Close brackets. I should really put this bit here diagonally, or the first letter must be next to the first letter must be next to the current location, or orthogonal next to the hiders. Each subsequent letters must be on an adjacent card. You cannot reuse a card in the same turn. You cannot use both letters on a card. Maybe it's you may only use one. You may only use one letter on the card. I think that makes sense. And the hider now writes down the word and makes a note. Makes a note of where they have been. And should I actually say, because I found it easiest to actually recreate this. So one problem with this game is that if you're playing in the same kitchen, for example, I need to shield my eyes so you can't see where I'm looking at. So you can't see if I'm looking there or there. And because if I just have my eyes visible and Chris sees me, or if I'm playing with Leyland, Layla did the same, kind of using bits of paper to sort of say, okay, you can't see my thing now. Ooh, exciting. There was the doorbell. Very appropriate for but package brought up by a chatty neighbor sounds lovely. I hope it's an exciting package. But yeah, back to what I was saying was that, yeah, in this game, firstly, you need to shield your eyes from the other players, because you need to make sure that the other player can't see where you're looking at. They can't see where you as the hider are going, because that would ruin the game. It's not meant to be about, hey, look at their eyes, let's see where they're looking at. It's meant to be, okay, let's think about the clues, which I'll get to in a minute, which have not yet been written by me. And the hider writes down the word, makes notes of where they... And so, yeah, should I have told the hider back in this that I suggest actually recreating the entire 5x5 grid on a bit of paper? Because as a hider, if you do recreate it, then it's like, okay, I can sort of, just for word making, check the words on here and at least draw a 5x5 grid. Drawing a 5x5 grid might help. Maybe I just mentioned that. Is that a reasonable thing to do? Drawing a 5x5 grid to represent the actual grid might help keep track of visited cards. That feels like I may be risking over explaining, but it is in italics, so I don't know. That feels fine. I could include a card with the 5x5 grid so they can use a whiteboard marker on it. Yeah, I could do. Either team may wish to try recording some, and yes. So the hider, okay, now writes down the word, makes a note of where they have been, and makes a note of where they ended the turn. That's his step 1. Step 2 is the hider guesses. This, okay. Just going to no. Why was I even doing that? Anyway. Should I put the definite article hider makes? Should I, rather than calling it the hider, should I name? Let's stick with the definite article for now. The seeker. I'm just kind of thinking that would make it read easier if it was like hider does this, seeker does this. The seeker makes guesses the location. Oh no, wait. First, the hider shares the word length. The hider tells the seeker how many letters they used. I mean, I don't even feel like I needed that clarification, but yep, fine. The seeker asks, get one more clue. The seeker can ask one of 3 questions. Oh, maybe I need... pattern, number, and starting letter. Pattern, of the final card, pattern on the final card, suit of the final card. Why am I calling it pattern? I need to homogenize my terms. Damn. Suit on the final card, number on the final card, the frequency of the lower letter, and or starting letter in the word. I don't think those clues need any more clarification. Okay, I'm just going to check. Wait a minute. Go back to streaming. Sorry, the seeker guesses. No, it's the hider makes the word, then the hider shares the word length, then the hider asks either the suit or the number or the starting letter, and then the seeker guesses. But yeah, if people in chat could tell me if this all makes sense so far. Like, do you think you could play this game? The seeker guesses. And this typesetting's all messed up, but ignore that. The seeker guesses the location of the hider, flips that card face down and flips the previous guess face up. Seeker guesses maybe where the hider is. Yeah, why not? And I'll even reduce that to 13 if I need to. If the seeker was correct, the hider loses a life. If the hider has been found 3 times, the game is over and the seeker wins. Yeah. I'm just going to say from now on I'll and the seeker team as the seeker, but there may be more hiders or seekers. Okay. Try and okay. Yep, that is the game. Let's see if anyone's got any comments. Is it really a guess if you have followed him around the grid and know this is where Bez is? Wahahaha. Oh, sorry, I just noticed that I'm making it quite small, so maybe you can't see. Sorry. And yep. So repeat. And the seeker, I never said that I never clarified that you can't use the face downward. Note, you may not, is this required, the face, or maybe I just say on a face-up card, could I add that? Must be on a, you cannot use the face down card to make words. Okay, there we go. The seeker keeps making words. The seeker records another word, shares the word length, and gives one more clue before, whoops, completely messed that up. The hider does it before the seeker makes a guess at the end of each turn. Now, I did add one rule to this game, which was that you don't just say, hey, I have suddenly managed to find I've managed to get to, I've managed to do all 25 letters. What I was considering was maybe some sort of rule. I'll put that into the thought section actually. Thoughts. Should there be an announcement when when the seeker has and the hider has all 25 cards? So the seeker feels extra drama for their final guess. If the hider uses all 25 cards, they win. And I really don't like that spacing, but let's ignore it. That's not. That's just reiterating information. You don't need to know that. Italicize, makes records another word, shares the word's length, and gives one more clue before the seeker makes a guess at the end of each turn. If the hider uses all 25 cards, they win. And that feels like all the rules. Yep, I don't see anything else. Oh, yep. That is all the rules for using any visible letter, suggests Alex. I mean, what I like about separating it into a thing just because of the way it's actually... I normally have 6 and... Oh, it seems like I need to really homogenize this. Some of them are 6, some of them are 5. That's not great. I think 5 is enough of a space. So I'm going to shrink these down slightly. Let's see if I can squeeze in one more line. And yeah. Oh my gosh, it's already gone past when I was meant to finish. Well, I'll just finish this really, really quickly in the next 5 minutes, and sorry about this, and let's say it, go and get stuff to do shopping, because that is a thing that people should do. And if you want to get shopping, you should go shopping. If your friends don't. First letter must be on the card next to hider's card implication, technically or formally. Maybe I can italicize this because next to kind of suggests that, and italics must be on a... Let's try. Yeah. So it looks like there's enough space for one more line, but there isn't quite. It's... Yeah, I would need to... I don't know... shrink one of these things by some amount. I don't know how much. By the way, the reason that I've got these blue lines is because these are the folds. So I like the picture to be in this area and this area to be like, okay, when you get the stuff in a deluxe setting and it's folded in the correct way, then you will see the name of the game and the information that you need before you open it up. But yeah, I think that's all I'm going to do for now. I am, feel free to share thoughts, and yeah, Vampire Flaggermouse, I will, if you get in touch, then I would love to have you help test these things. And basically, it's really from a point of view of which game do you enjoy more and why. And I understand with a 2-player game, maybe Biddle is not going to be. Biddle really shines when it's 3 or 4 players, but it'll still be interesting to hear your experience. And yeah. So for now, I guess that is the end of the stream. And thank you very much, everyone. I want to say thank you. And now, quickly, over to you. What are you up to? You can share anything you want to. I am going to do all the things that's mentioned. I'm going to have a bit of lunch, do a bit of tidying, chat to Jason, do some writing, to sort myself out for heading off tomorrow to Glasgow. And brilliant. I'm excited to hear that you are interested by these games. So yeah, thank you for offering. And so yeah, I guess also what I'm going to do is once I have, if it were light, I would be taking advantage of the light kind of to sort. I might actually also take advantage of the daytime before one of my housemates might be having one person over before they come over. I'm going to reorganize literally all my board games because I am annoyed by how it is, and also I've got boxes in front of the boxes, and anyway, I need to organize the board games in the living room to put more stuff onto the shelves, to make space in this room, and tidy up this room to bring the stuff from the living room into here so that I get my junk out of the living space. Anyway, that's enough. That is what I am striving to do. And also then I am excited to get these things as much as I can. I will get it sent off. Let me put a definite deadline to it. Let me say before I leave to Glasgow, as in, let's say before my stream tomorrow, before 9 a.m. Let's say before 9 a.m. tomorrow, I will send this off to Flaggermouse and Jason and David Brain and Andrew Dennison and Chris and who else? Basically anyone else who's up for testing. So all the previous winners. I will. Oh damn! How could I forget Paul Mansfield, Tom Cauldron, previous winners of the design competition? Yeah, Tom won the first competition, Paul won the second, and this is the third annual competition. But thank you, Alex, for watching. I'm sorry that Twitch wasn't working out. So see you soon and take care. And thank you very much. And to check out my next streams, look at stuffandbeds.com/streams. Today tomorrow I am chatting with Nikita about crafting and making games, like physically making games with your hands, like self-assembling stuff. Share, spread the word. Every Friday is going to be random blether where people can literally jump in and join in the video chat. And next Friday, Vampire, if you want to join me on camera, I will let you do that. I'll paste the link into the Twitch chat and you can jump on. Just remind, if you missed these starts, let me know. I like to go onto Twitch and check out who is playing. So if you're watching this after the fact, then obviously that's not relevant. But if you're watching this right now, we've got a musician. And I will suggest this one musician. If you do not have to go out to do some shopping, then follow this raid and join us. If you do have to go shopping, maybe follow it and then go away straight away. But it is again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you again. And obviously, I can't give a shout out to the designers of the people who of these games. The original designers will be getting some due credit in due course. Definitely by 1st of August, I will be shouting loudly as I can, saying, this person made this person made this, these people are amazing. And I want to shout about that. But please, yep, for now, only one thing left to do is to say bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. And bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye bye.